Oh my god, I can't do those difficult asanas. I'm not flexible enough. My hands do not even touch the ground when I bend down. Yoga is totally not my cup of tea. Hey, you're young. Why are you doing yoga? Do exercise. Yoga is for old people. Wait, stop. Stop right there. I've always heard and faced something like this. And you might have heard something like this too. And if you are someone who thinks like that, let me give you this another perspective to think upon. In today's video, I'm going to burst some myths and misconception around the concept, the philosophy and science of yoga, and also going to give a sneak peek into what exactly yoga is. Welcome, I am Rituja, and this is my special space where I talk about spirituality, yoga, my journey of self discovery, and all the random stuff. And if you're interested in this content, then please subscribe to my YouTube channel. First of all, a very happy Navratri to all of you, and so let's awaken the feminine energies within us. So let's get to our topic. So let me start with the first, foremost, and basic, that is the word yoga itself. Yes, you heard me right, it's yoga and not yoga. Now, there are many definitions to this philosophy or this sort of school of yoga, but today I am going to talk about these two profound definitions. The first one is by sage Patanjali. According to him, yoga is not union. His opinion of yoga is the disunion of the self from the matter, and the another definition is by Yajnavalkya. He states that yoga is the union of our soul with this soul to the supreme soul. Now, etymologically speaking, the word yoga is derived from two roots. The first one being the yujur, means the union, and the second is yuj, meaning to concentrate. Now, in today's video, I'm going to bust this four popular myths around the concept of yoga, according to my opinion. Yes. The first one being yoga should be done at certain age, or yoga is for some people. Now, I started practicing the asanas while I was 12 or 13. I knew the concept of yoga when I was 5 or 6, but not in deep that I know now. And I remember I mentioned this to a person whom I knew, that I practice asanas, I know about yoga, and that what that person said to me was, why you're doing yoga? You're young, you should go to gym, you should do exercise. Yoga is for old people. Now, accept the sentence about yoga, accept the sentence about gym and exercise. Everything is a myth. Now, I know it's that person's perspective and opinion, but I'm here to bust myths. So, yeah. Now, yoga is for everyone, literally everyone. Someone who is of age 5 to someone who is 80 years old can practice yoga. Yoga is much more deeper and vast than any of us know, or the ideas we have about yoga. Yoga doesn't mean you have to live your family, be an ascetic. Yoga is something you follow every day in each step of your life. Now, our second myth is, when you practice yoga, you should do every toughest asana. Now, let me clear this. Asanas or pranayam are just some part of yoga. There are many types of yoga, and Ashtanga Yoga is one of them, and under that, asanas and pranayams come. So basically, asanas and pranayams are limbs of yoga. Now, to clear this myth more, I want to share my personal experience. I used to be this very anxious person. I had this big issue about my body image. And when I completed my diploma in yoga and the degrees in naturopathy and yoga therapy, I was so excited. I wanted to as much as I can, and I still want to. I'm still excited, and during that phase, I used to search for the yoga influencers on Instagram, and these people had the perfect Instagram account for a person who practices yoga. They used to post the toughest asanas, and then my inferiority complex popped up. I started thinking that I had learned this much, and in practicality, I cannot even hold a Shirshasan without support, not more than 20 seconds. I cannot even do Mayurasan, and I still cannot. I'm stuck at Hansasan. But the impact of this was so much on me that at some point of time, I literally stopped taking full pictures of myself because I had this image about my body, this big body image issue. And as the days went by, I suddenly had this thought out of nowhere. I remembered this sutra from Patanjali Yoga Sutra, which is Sthiram Sukham Asanam, and I realized the aim of following this lifestyle of yoga isn't that you need to do every toughest asana out there. Sthiram Sukham Asana means that whatever asana you are doing, whatever posture you are in, you should do it with ease, with comfort, without any force. And it doesn't really matter whether you reach the final stage or not. What really matters is whatever posture you are in, not forgetting that it should be done with ease and comfort and not without any force. And I think that's what makes yoga different from exercise. And this leads to our next misconception about yoga, which is yoga is exercise. But now, while doing exercise, our focus is to burn calories, and burning calories leads to giving out our energies. Now, on the other hand, while doing yoga, you conserve energies and also you create energy in your body. Let me clear this thing more. While doing exercise or lifting weights, we always try to go beyond our capabilities to train our muscle and to make them more capable. As I cleared in our earlier misconception, yoga isn't about forcing. Well, another point under this misconception is yoga can help you to gain muscles. I have seen many people who, rather than lifting weights in gym, they use their own body weight to train their muscle or build up muscles. Now, don't take me wrong. I'm not here against going to gym or anything. I love gymming. I love lifting weights. Even though I don't do that, I used to do that a lot. Yoga and exercise can be done if you like doing both. Only precaution you have to take is a time gap of more than 30 minutes or so between doing yoga or exercise, because as I already said that how the energy is different while doing these both things, and that's what makes yoga different from exercise. Now, the health benefits that you get from yoga are some of the byproducts of doing yoga. Yoga actually impacts not your physical or mental growth, it also impacts your spiritual growth. It's work on your soul, your spirit. Come to our last myth, that is yoga is related to religion. Now, as far as I know, religion and spirituality doesn't have to do anything with each other. They are not even related. I mean, there are ways you can be spiritual through religion, but spirituality isn't religion. Yoga doesn't teach you to be religious. Yoga is associated with spirituality. Even though this school of thought of yoga was originally written in Hindu religion. It doesn't has to do anything with religion itself. Yoga makes you realize the truth about you, the truth about the universe that you are believing in. Yoga is not just a philosophy, it's a science. And as I said, science because it really is. When I was doing my diploma and degrees regarding yoga, the first thing we were taught about the anatomy and physiology of the body and then how we can apply the yoga to this. Even the prayer, the Sahana Bhavatu, Om Sahana Bhavatu, Sahana Bhavatu, this prayer has this universal meaning and interest. And the meaning of that shlok is together may we move, together may we relish, together may we perform with vigor, with deep concentration, and may what has been studied by us be filled with radiance. May it not give rise to hostility. Peace, peace, and peace. Now, finally, it's up to you what you want to follow because it's your life and you decide what you want. But one thing I can certainly say is that following this path of yoga, you will never be disappointed. It will only bring you the wonders in the universe and the wonders you have within you. If you like this video, then please like, share and comment your views in the comment box below. And for more such videos, stay tuned. Till then, see you.